Well, this first poem is called A Wedding Poem. Look how joyful and beautiful the Spirit is, the breath of life that emanates from God, transforming mineral into marrow, and earthly dark matter into a freshly minted man, infusing this animated conscious soul with light and intellect, implanting timeless secrets and carefree yearnings within the very heart of man. Look how joyful and beautiful the man is, first of all flesh, created exclusively in God's image, blessed with spiritual qualities such as love, joy, peace, kindness, goodness, faith, mildness, patience, and self-control. The body of whom his own counterpart, the feminine one, had been taken, grafted from protective, soft, pliable bone, set closest to his heart, then shaped and formed into a wondrous, beauteous, new creation, woman. Look how joyful and beautiful the woman is, God's crowning achievement. She is the pièce de résistance of the Divine One, who, just before entering into his Sabbath day of rest, united the woman to the man as the climactic glory of all the creative works he had brought into existence, inspiring man's first poetic expression of love. At last, bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. Look how joyful and beautiful love is. Wow. This love sublime that binds you and unites you in ecstasy. This love surpassing that excels all thought and worldly comprehension. This love supreme that feeds you and nourishes you, blesses you and sacrifices for you so as to fulfill your spiritual need and earthly desires. As in the beginning, it is your manifest destiny, a sacred treasure, a new creation. Cherish it and remember, as you enter into God's Sabbath, his spiritual place of rest and peace, to rejoice, rejoice, I say, in the activity of the Spirit, in the ecstasy of love at last, and in all the beauty of this day, I say, rejoice. And from this day forward, may these things take root in you, and grow in you, and abound in you, and flow through you, and between you, for ever and ever. Amen. That's for Ingrid and Kyle. Supposed to write another one for Jennifer Barone and Danny Hefez, who are getting married next month, and we're going to Italy. And get high fives, yeah. So we're excited about that. Anyway, give it up for National Poetry Month. So many things, events. We're just privileged to be here in San Francisco, where they really are supportive of poetry, and you hear some amazing voices and amazing writers throughout this month. And hopefully it'll still us to keep it going and culminating at the Poem Dome. So glad to all be here for that in support of it. Ingrid asked me to say a little bit of how I got into poetry and so forth. So I think it was like I used to write when I was married, just to write little, notes for anniversaries or special things along with flowers on cards. And I never found cards that I liked, so I used to write my own little poems. So I guess that's how it started. My kids, when they were small, I would have them invent poems or little sayings, So that's how I got started. But in the 90s, I got a little bit more serious after seeing a movie called Il Postina. I don't know if you've seen it, but it was a great movie. Featured Neruda's poetry, and even someone played Neruda in it. And so that got me more serious about writing, or at least appreciating poetry and reading. And then later, when I moved to San Francisco, which was several years later, back in the year 2000, I started more in earnest as a writer. And also because I went through some personal things, and it also helped me. It was cathartic. Hitting the open mics and everything, laying your soul out there and all that, you know. So anyway, this is the poem that Neruda wrote that first inspired me to read and to write. And appropriately, it's called Poetry. And so it was at that age, poetry arrived in search of me. I don't know. I don't know where it came from winter or a river. I don't know how or when. No, they were not voices. They were not words, nor silence. But from the street I was summoned, from branches of night, abruptly from the others. Among violent fires, or returning alone, there I was, without a face, and it touched me. I did not know what to say. My mouth had no way with names. My eyes were blind. And something started in my soul, fever or forgotten wings. And I made my own way, deciphering that fire. And I wrote my first faint line, faint without substance, pure nonsense, pure wisdom of someone who knows nothing. And suddenly I saw the heavens unfastened and opened, planets palpitating, planations, shadow perforated, riddled with arrows, fire, and flowers, the winding night, the universe, and I, infinitesimal being, drunk with the great starry void, likeness, image of mystery, I felt myself a pure part of the abyss. I wheeled with the stars. My heart broke free on the open sky. That's poetry from the great Neruda.